until finally they reach the edge of the big sea.
Most times on social media, we only show or highlight the positives. I too have been guilty of this at times. Not because I want my life to look more glamorous than it is, but because my fear was that by sharing the negatives, it may make others feel away. Social media is seen as this fun place, but if we only share things that make us laugh or smile, then it can quickly become an unreal place that we later begin to struggle to separate from real life, depending on how much time we spend on it or the posts or videos we are exposed to. This year has been one of my most challenging years and feels as if my life has been turned inside out. At the start of the year, my boys celebrated their first birthday, and shortly after, my uncle passed, who was more like a father figure to me after my father went to prison. Not even 2 weeks later, I experienced the high. My YouTube channel that I had been working on for 7 years had its first viral video and propelled my channel to monetization. As I continued to work on it on the side, the time came for me to fulfill my vow to God that I had made in December 2022. At the end of the first quarter of 2023, I would leave my 9-to-5 and walk by faith. I thought since I was being faithful to God that my life would only go up. But if anything, it seemed as if everything was falling apart. By mid-April, I moved into a bigger apartment with my 3 under 3 and awaited further instruction from God. He told me to rest and continue working on my YouTube channel. So that's what I did. After weeks of pumping out content, reworking routines, and resting, I didn't see anything. Money was running low, credit card debt was piling, and bills were coming in. Lord, did I hear you correctly? Then he did it. He paid my rent for 2 months and every bill I had at the time. Okay, Lord, so should I go find a new job? But he told me to keep doing what he told me to do. So I did. Then October approached and I was in a familiar place. Rent was past due, credit cards were maxed, and bills were coming in. And he did it again. He paid my rent and the bills for the month. This time, it seemed like he led me a little bit deeper, but I trusted it meant my breakthrough was near. Lord, I feel well rested now. I can go find a job. I have no problem working a 9-to-5. However, he told me to be still and continue doing what he told me to do. And also, it was now time to give away my car. I struggled with it because my car was paid off, and if I heard God wrong this whole time, I could at least escape if I had my car. But he told me, obedience is better than sacrifice. So I tried to give it to my little brother, but he didn't want it. I waited to see if there would be someone I could bless with it, but I didn't come across anyone. Oh, okay, God. So this is like an Abraham moment, I thought to myself, feeling relieved. However, it wasn't. It was preparation, because afterwards, God told me to sell my car. Reluctantly, I did, and it took me 2 whole weeks to process and grieve. Now, I know you may be thinking, girl, it's just a car. But for me, it was like my child. Prior to getting Santa Cruz, I had totaled every car I had. So when I got her, I had just overcome homelessness. It's a long story that you can read more about here. And was paranoid about crashing it. She only had 4 miles, and at that time of my life, I wasn't sure if I would be able to pay her off. But through the grace of God, not only did I pay it off early, but I also made sure that she had every checkup and oil change on time to ensure she would last a long time. Once I made peace with her departure, I just knew I had passed my final test. But God had other plans. December rolled around and I didn't have my rent money. And then December 28th rolled around and I still didn't have my rent money. And I have no idea what will happen next. God has told me to be still, and I'm trusting that he will turn this moment into a Red Sea moment.
Don't be afraid. The Lord himself will fight for you. You need only to be still.
When stories are told, we are used to seeing a happy ending or good overcoming evil. But some of the best stories are those that leave off with a cliffhanger. Those that lead up to the climax and cause you to wait and see what happens next. As exciting as it is to watch, it is extremely scary to walk out in real life. My prayer is that as you wait for God to reveal the next chapter of your life, that you have faith and remember that all stories have an ending. Sometimes the ending isn't what we expect. Sometimes it doesn't make the most sense to us. And sometimes it's not even what we think is best. But please remember that all struggles come to an end. Nothing lasts forever. So take refuge in the one who does.
Would you trust God if He told you to be still, even if it didn't make sense to you?
In the meantime, in between time, let's continue to prosper properly as His property. Prospering property.